Hi, welcome to Jacky Rom Investigates. And yes, I am Jacky Rom. So, welcome to my show. I'll be chatting to lots of interesting people with amazing, extraordinary lives and just having a little chat. So, let's see who we've got on the show today. Hi, Bridget. I'm so excited to chat to you. I love artistic, inspirational people, and I think that you're one of those. Would you mind telling my viewers a little bit about what you do?
I am a set and costume designer for theater, film, and dance. I've done a bunch of costumes for the Hong Kong Ballet. So yeah, we moved over here in 2005. So it's
where were you brought up?
In Canada, just outside of Toronto. My mom still lives in the same house that I grew up in, which is crazy.
So I still get to go back.
I do. I get to go back. I usually go back in the summer to get away from the heat in Hong Kong and catch up with family and friends and stuff. Yeah. So
now we have this global pandemic. Is your work like non-existent? Has everything stopped?
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, the theater entertainment industry is just like nothing, right? And everybody's worried. Everybody keeps talking about like even when they start saying, yeah, we can start slowly going back to work, that's not even going to be one of the things that people are going to go do. And my husband and I were just talking the other day, when are people going to feel safe to go back to see the cinema, to go back in large groups and watch theater, dance, any kind of entertainment, any, live productions?
Well, I heard in England they're going to do outdoor cinemas, like the 1950s drive-ins.
Yeah.
That's going to come back.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I saw that just today. A friend of mine posted it. I'm like, oh yay, the drive-in's back. But that only works if you have a car.
Yeah, that's very true.
Otherwise, you have to have like taped out on the floor, like don't come within this square.
Exactly. So how did you get into that business?
Oh gosh. Well, when I was in high school, I was always involved in productions and in doing visual art and stuff. And I actually had an very amazing arts education when I was younger, which I feel like they keep cutting back more and more these days, which is unfortunate. But luckily I had some really great mentors that set me on a path. And one of them in particular said to me, you like doing art and you really like theater. I wonder if you'd like doing set design. Would you like to try doing it on one of our next shows? And I said, yeah, sure, that sounds great. And then I was hooked. And so I started doing that and then got into university. And then I ended up doing costume design as well and lighting design and all kinds of stuff behind the stage, because that's how you get your jobs to start with. And I've never stopped doing art. Like, this is one of my pieces behind me. So I've been working on what I've been doing right now while I'm, stuck at home and have no work. And sometimes I do tutoring here in Hong Kong to try to make ends meet, because I never have enough work anyway, but which is just sort of par for the course. Anyway, so what I've been doing lately is working on my own art, and I've done a few in particular Corona art pieces. One of them just got shortlisted for the Hong Kong, what is it called? It's a big long name, Hong Kong Human Rights Arts Award. So
well done, that's fantastic. Yay.
So that's exciting. So it's good, yeah.
We, my daughter and I, we have a performing arts college and school and a theatre. We have a small studio theatre. So I find what you do fascinating, because we have to make it happen on a low budget.
Right.
So with things we use and make, so I appreciate what you do. I really do.
I was just reminiscing today because one of the places that I used to work when I was in Toronto, when I just got out of university, was a small theater company called Smile Theater, and they do touring productions for seniors. But it's so tiny, you have to do everything yourself. So, I mean, I was the set designer, um, the costume designer. I was also my own wardrobe and my own building team, and I roped lots of people in to help me do things and paid them some cash and did this and did that myself and sewed things.
You know,
Fitful.
I think as women, that's how we're multi-talented.
Yeah.
I really do. It's funny because this series, Jacky Rom Investigates, I've wanted to do for 3 years now, and it's something you know the system. You know, you look for funding, you try and find, and then when we're stuck inside, it was, well, I might as well just do it. So I've become makeup artist, wardrobe lady, lighting, editing, camera. If you only saw how that's propped up, it's quite amusing because it's not as glamorous as it looks. I'm in my bedroom and this is a tiny corner underneath the roof, but we just make it happen, don't we?
We do. Yeah, we definitely do. It's true.
Do
Yeah.
you have a favorite part of your job? You know, if you had to make tutus or kimonos, I don't know, or something, or a set, or if to me, and this is just off my head, I love the Audrey 2, the different Audrey 2s in the Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh.
And we've had to hire them, you know, like 4 different sizes. And that would appeal to me to make something like that. Do you have a preference on what part of your job you like most?
Well, it's funny. I think you might find it one of the least interesting parts, but I think because my job tends to be kind of a solo, do-it-yourself, work from home. Like everyone, when this whole thing started, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so bored at home." I'm like, "What? Come on! You should have tons of things to do at home. This is my regular life, working from home." So the parts I like the most about the job are working with the directors and other designers and collaborating and coming up with zany things that you couldn't do on your own. That's the part I really love the most. And then the next best part is seeing the stuff that you've made come to fruition. That's kind of amazing.
And then seeing the show, the actual performance, and oh, how lovely.
Yeah, when you finally see someone wearing the costume that you've been agonizing over for months, you know, you're like, wait, it looks so good. We've done a good job.
Have you made something that has been really proud of? Is there something along the way that you're really proud of making?
Yeah, I mean, I think at every stage in your life, as you're getting, you know, you're growing up and learning more, there's always something that you're like, wow, I'm so proud of this. And then next year you can do something and then be really proud of that. I really loved one of the first ballets I ever did in Hong Kong was the Frog Prince. It just had such a great group of people working together, and it was so imaginative. And we just sort of, we didn't have a huge budget, but we were able to do a lot with what we had. So it really looked amazing. I love that show. It was great.
I trained as a makeup artist and a wig maker. So really early on in my career, I would make wigs, and I stopped. I didn't do it, but it's so creative.
Yeah.
But, we did an excerpt about 3 years ago from Cats, and we needed a wig. So I said, well, I'll make one. And I got, so I know how, I got a swimming cap, and I got wool, and I made the one of the cats, McCavity, his complete wig out of wool and a swimming cap.
That's amazing. Yeah. In the Frog Prince, we had this really massive wig. And it was like all like a fine powdered kind of period. It's kind of a quasi period, kind of weird Alice in Wonderland falling down the well kind of thing. And I got to work with a wig person for that, and she was amazing. She was so great. She made it look easy. I was like, if I did that myself, it would have taken hours.
Because now I'm an author, so, and I write crime fiction. So I spend about, every book, I spend about 8 months just researching. I'm guessing you have to do a lot of research too.
Yes, I do. I do. I'm not sure that everybody does, but I love research. So I do tons of research, and I like to make my any kind of piece that I do, whether it's an art piece or something on stage, I like to give it a lot of richness of history and sort of sources that you're finding inspiration from. So it's sort of like a bunch of things together, and regardless of whether people understand it or not, it doesn't matter, but you know that it's there. Yeah.
And how much has the Hong Kong culture now influenced your painting and your work now?
Well, definitely the politics. I've gotten a lot more political since I've moved here. So I'm getting my hands dirty and all of that stuff. The most recent art piece that I've done right now is quite political.
So
I don't know.
First moved to Hong Kong. How did you, not say cope, but was it a really hard move dealing with a completely different culture?
It was. I've speaking to a lot of different people who've lived in different places. It could have been much harder if I moved somewhere that doesn't speak English. So luckily here, I can be very lazy and I don't need to learn how to speak Cantonese. I know a little bit, but mostly it's like a party trick. It makes people laugh, and
it was going to be my next question. So.
I can get around on a minibus, and I know numbers and some foods and stuff. But yeah, I haven't. When I first moved here, I said to my sister-in-law, who's Chinese, I said to her, well, a Hong Kong person, I said to her, I'm gonna learn Cantonese, no problem. I'll probably be able to figure it out in 4 years or something. But I didn't realize nobody was gonna speak Cantonese to me, and I never ended up taking a class. My mother-in-law told me I should learn Mandarin because it's easier for me to pick up, and then I never chose and never did anything, and then here I am years later, still don't really know how to speak.
And how did you start with finding work in your field, moving halfway across the world? Was it just meeting people and
it was
networking?
Meeting people. Luckily, I knew of a Canadian designer who was coming here to do a show. He was coming here to do Peter Pan with one of the theater companies here. And so I assisted him on that, which was super fun. And I met a few people here right away who were in the theater scene, which was really helpful. So I got a few jobs right away, which was great. And then, then it was hard. It's hard to get work in the theater business anyway. Sure. But here I find maybe it's even a bit worse. Like, people forget about you quite quickly. And they had this weird feeling about everyone was protecting their artistic director, and they were up on like a pedestal, and they call them Mr. Chang or Mr. whatever, and I'm like, what's happening? And then when you say, oh, even when you're working with the company already, I say, oh, could I get his email address, because he said he wanted to meet up for tea or something sometime, and they were like, oh no, we can't give you his email address, you need to write to us first. And I was like, what, seriously? So it was hard just to try to get your foot in the door, because people don't write back to you or remember that you exist. So
is there much filming going on in Hong Kong?
There's film that happens. I've met a bunch of people in the film industry. I've worked a bit in film, not too much. A lot of it's very local, and a lot of it's TV work. Yeah. So.
And is there any show that you think I would love to either do the set design or do all the costumes? Is there like one show that's on your?
Oh golly. I used to have a show. What was the show? Like I would like to do like a big opera or ballet or something, like oh, like a big, like a firebird. That would be fun. All the costumes for that, or whatever. What else?
I think, didn't Cats come touring Asia?
It did
Did you
come.
get to see it?
I did, yeah. I was it just last year. I think my husband took me for my birthday, so really like a year ago in May.
That's it. I was in Beijing when it was. I go sometimes to Beijing to work.
Yeah, it came,
and they were there.
It was a beautiful production, especially considering that it's touring. A lot of times I have to pare it down to tour, as you probably know. But the set was fantastic, and the thing about Cats, though, is it's really a terrible musical. I'm like, why did they write this?
I love it.
It doesn't mean there's the, you know what, my best friend she's from London and she loves it too, and I'm like, why? It's about nothing. There's no story. It's the weirdest. The music's beautiful, but I'm like, what's happening? What is all these things they're talking about? It's so weird. It's such a weird show.
I totally agree with you, but I just love it. But have you seen the new film?
No, I have not yet.
You're not going to like it.
Have you seen it?
I love it.
Oh, you do?
I loved it.
I haven't heard anyone say that yet. That's exciting. I should watch it.
Most people that like musical theatre will like it, but you should see it, not because of the show. Forget the show. And most of it is either animatronics or CGI.
Right.
But the design is magnificent. There is a scene where Skimbleshanks tap dances on the side of the bridge of London, and you see the whole of London. It's like 6-7 o'clock at night, and you just see the whole of London. The CGI, and then every cat, the ears go, the eyes go, the nose go, and the tail goes. It's really off-putting, but I love it. But I think when you've worked in film, TV, like you and I do, I mean, I've spent most of my life on a film set because as a drama teacher, I'd be taking young children where they were working. So I'd be on set or whatever. So I spent most of my life on the set. So when I watch something, and I'm sure you do the same, sometimes you think, oh, how did they do that? Or I'd love to be part of that. And, you see it with a naked eye. So you should watch Cats just to see.
Yeah, well, okay. I will. I definitely will.
So apart from painting and I know it's a lot, but set designing and costumes, but is there anything else? Do you actually have any other skills? Or
I do. I also run a blog of creative women from around the world. We're small numbers at the moment. We've been bigger and smaller. It depends on how many women get pregnant or busy. So
tell everybody what that's
called. About 7.
Tell everybody what that's called, just in case anybody wants to pop on.
It's called Empress Tea. And it's at tea.empresschic.com, because I have a business called Empress Chic that I also I paint big murals and stuff like that. So,
So are these public murals? You go into a building and take a wall or something?
These are usually private murals. So someone commissions me and says, we want like a Hong Kong street scene on this particular wall, and here's money, and I go, great, and then paint it.
How fantastic. And then tell me a bit about the blog and the ladies.
Oh yes, so the blog is different creative women, and I started it several years ago because I saw this interesting idea by like 3 men. A couple of them live in New York, I think, and one of them in the UK. So why don't I do it like supporting women? And so we choose one woman from each city. So we don't usually have two, although I do have two in one place right now because of something crazy that happened. Someone moved and then moved back again. But and I didn't want to get rid of them. So I was like, it's my blog, I can make the rules. So anyway, the point is, wait, what's the point?
That's okay.
That was a sad thing. The point is, so we post about something that's going on in our lives or our city, and then the next person sort of looks at that and says, oh yeah, that reminds me of this, or they do their own thing. And so there's something once a week at the moment. We're posting once a week, and something creative's coming out. Some people are writers, some people are graphic designers. I try to do some visual stuff most of the time, some kind of painting or art or something like that.
So
yeah.
have you got anyone in England?
Not right now. Ah, you're interested?
Oh, where am I?
Oh, excellent. That's great. Yeah, no, I lost my England person a couple years ago. Yeah.
I did pop on and have a look because I had. And where did the name? Where did you get the name, or why did you use the name Empress Tea?
Well, I already had a company called Empress Chic, and I was going with the Empress thing because it's very Chinese and
Feminine,
represents women, which is me, and the strength of women and all of that stuff. And then the idea that you have an empress of people that join together. And then in this particular instance, I thought it was more like women getting together over a cup of tea and conversation, as we do, because we're social people, most of us ladies. So
because you are right, we are social. Have you found that hard being kind of locked in? That's the hardest thing, and hard being social when there's. Have you had the lockdown like us? We're inside. We're not going. We can go for a walk and buy groceries.
No, we've been a bit more fortunate, I think, because we got on it immediately. Because we were terrified about what was coming from China, so we were watching and getting the news. And luckily, my husband can read Chinese, so he was getting the actual Chinese news, and it was really scary. And they're telling you certain numbers, and then there's other news you were hearing, and you're like, no, it's worse than what they're saying. So we were afraid. And I think also because of the protests that have been going on, Hong Kong people weren't trusting the government anyway. So when this whole thing happened, we all kind of banded together and we just started wearing masks. And the government at one point said, everyone should wear a mask. And then next week they said, everyone needs to stop wearing masks. And we're like, we're not listening to you. We're just going to do our own thing because you cannot be trusted. It's crazy. The world's so weird right now. It's very strange.
I have said a few times, I'm hoping that something good comes out of this because people are being kinder. Definitely. They're thinking more. So I think if people come out a little less selfish, a little kinder, and a little more patient.
Yeah. I also hope that it helps generate more creative ideas about how to deal with the way the world's working or not working right now, right? So
exactly. Well, have you seen some of the animals walking through streets that are like Vegas had little geese and ducks walking down the Vegas Strip? So funny.
It is really funny.
Well, it's been so lovely chatting. I've really enjoyed it.
We'll have to keep in touch. I have your email, so that's okay.
Yeah, please do. And you never know, I might come out to Hong Kong one day. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
Yay.
And we'll keep in touch.
Okay, yeah. Let me know what you do with all of this.